what if everything you thought about risk, maybe about work and even financial success was, well, fundamentally flawed?
Mm.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into the mind of Monish Pabrai, the self-made millionaire investor, often called the Dando Investor.
That's right.
Our mission here is to explore these simple but really powerful mental models he uses, frameworks that kind of challenge the usual way of thinking,
Yeah, they really do.
and maybe offer you a shortcut to understanding how to build, real wealth and purpose with what seems like almost zero risk.
Well, Dhandho, that's the core concept, isn't it?
Right.
It's a Gujarati word, means business, basically.
Right.
But it's more than that. It implies this whole way of operating where, like Monish puts it, the downside is just almost non-existent.
Okay.
The principle is simple. Heads I win, tails I don't lose much.
Heads I win, tails I don't lose much.
I like that. Exactly. And you see this pattern with, big names, Bill Gates, Sam Walton, Richard Branson. They built these huge fortunes, basically following these simple models, always minimizing their own personal risk.
Okay, but zero risk in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
That sounds, well, it sounds like the opposite of everything we usually hear about startups. They're supposed to be inherently risky, right?
They are, or at least that's the perception. But Monish turns it around. It's really about managed risk, deeply managed, to the point where your personal downside gets very, very close to zero.
So it's not no risk, it's just smartly handled risk.
Precisely. He argues the real risk isn't starting a business his way. The real risk is staying stuck in that 9-to-5 job where you're not doing what's in your heart.
Ah, okay.
Or as he puts it, not getting your music out. That's the biggest risk, losing that opportunity.
That's a really powerful way to reframe it. And speaking of flipping ideas, his model of cloning, that's fascinating. We're always told innovation is about something brand new.
Right. But he says, look, if you're a great cloner, you're already like 90, maybe 95% ahead of the game.
95%? Wow.
Yeah. It's not about just, mindlessly copying. It's about seeing what works, figuring out why it works, and then making it better or adapting it.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, Microsoft, Word wasn't original, right? It came after WordPerfect. Excel followed Lotus. Even Bing, that was their answer to Google. They cloned, then refined. Or Sam Walton, Walmart founder. He flat out said he had no original ideas. He just cloned Sears and Kmart. He'd even take his family on vacation just to study competitor stores.
Seriously, just walk around looking.
Yeah, intensely. He once noted this fantastic candle display in what he thought was a generally terrible operation. He learned from everyone.
Ah,
And Starbucks. Howard Schultz saw cafes in Italy, saw the potential, and basically cloned that concept for the U.S. The genius was in the execution, the adaptation.
So the opportunity isn't just invention, it's refinement. Intelligent adaptation. That's a big shift.
It really is.
But okay, let's get practical. For listeners thinking, all right, I like this idea, but how do I actually start something, even cloning, without quitting my day job? I've got rent to pay.
And that's absolutely crucial. Monish is super clear on this. He says, don't quit the day job because some other yo-yo is paying your rent. You use that job as your safety net.
Okay, so how do you manage the time? You still have the job.
It's about smart allocation. His own story is great here. He aimed for performance just above firing level at his job.
Just above firing level.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Just enough to keep it, but save his real energy, his best thinking for his own startup after hours.
Okay.
So you cut down your commute if you can. Then you look at your free time, the hours spent on social media, Netflix, whatever. You reallocate that.
How much time are we talking?
For him, it was intense. Maybe 4 hours a day on weekdays and 10 hours a day on weekends. All focused on his startup.
Wow, that's dedication. And he has that test, right? The yellow versus orange thing.
Exactly. The yellow stuff, your startup work, it has to be more exciting, more compelling. He even says orgasmic than your regular free time, the orange stuff.
Ah, okay, so passion is key.
It has to be. And that ties into the purpose of the business, too. He insists the purpose isn't just making money.
No. What is it then?
It's about delivering something incredible, a product or service to humanity, the money. That's just a side effect, a consequence of doing that really well.
That feels almost idealistic, but also strategic. Focus on value first.
Right. It builds loyalty, sustainable growth.
Okay, so you've got this passion, this idea, maybe cloned, maybe refined. How do you avoid building something nobody actually wants? That whole ivory tower problem.
That's a huge trap. Monish warns about it constantly. His solution, rapid prototyping. Meaning basically whatever cool idea you cooked up in your head, it's probably not going to work. Not at first. Anyway.
Ouch. Okay.
So you have to get it out there, show it to real people, get feedback fast, often.
Got an example?
He does. His IT services startup, he was pitching this bank executive, right? Had a PowerPoint, maybe 7 different service ideas.
Mm-hmm.
The exec stops him cold on slide 10, says, That's my biggest pain point. Forget the rest.
Oh.
So Monish realized, okay, the customer is literally telling me what is 100% right. He ditched the other 6 ideas, took slide 10, and built the entire business around solving that one specific problem.
So listen. Really listen.
Exactly. Turn your listening radar up to 10x, he says. Filter the signal from the noise. Your customers will guide you. Think Google Glass versus those Meta Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
Glass was clunky, weird. The Ray-Bans look normal. Meta learned that for personal tech, ergonomics, and just how it looks, how people feel wearing it is critical. Listen to the user.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Now, another big barrier people perceive is capital. Starting a business costs a fortune, right?
That's the myth. Monish totally debunks it. He points out that like 99.99% of startups are not venture-backed.
Really? Like what?
Your local laundromat, a restaurant, someone selling stuff on eBay. These need brainpower, hustle, ingenuity, much more than huge piles of cash.
Okay.
He started his own business with $100,000, and that wasn't VC money. It was credit cards, his 401k.
Wow. Raiding the 401k. That's commitment.
It was, but he was cash flow positive in 9 months. Then he resigned. His old boss actually offered him a promotion, saying, come back when your business fails.
How wrong they were.
Totally. And think bigger. Richard Branson. Virgin Atlantic. How much capital to start an airline? Needs a plane, right?
A Boeing 747, yeah.
Millions. Branson started with effectively zero capital, found at least 747 just sitting idle, pre-sold tickets, negotiated delayed payments for fuel for the lease itself. It was pure creativity.
Starting an airline with zero capital, that's mind-blowing.
Monish's point is, if Branson can do that, you can probably start almost anything with minimal capital if you're clever enough.
So ingenuity over cash. It comes back to that low-risk Dhandho idea again.
Yeah.
But okay, even with low capital, you need relentless effort, right? Resilience.
Oh, absolutely. It's not easy. He talks about the law of averages and really high-impact communication.
How so?
For his IT business, he had a system send 200 customized letters a week, not generic spam. Dear Dave, using a shortened name.
Wait, dear Dave.
To get past the gatekeepers. The assistant wouldn't know if Monish actually knew Dave personally or not. Sneaky, but effective.
Okay, then what?
Then 200 follow-up calls, track everything. Letters sent, calls made, meetings booked, deals closed. Keep them in the funnel unless they explicitly say stop.
Wow, that's a machine.
It is. And his daughter used a similar tactic for job hunting. Sent 1,200 physical letters to hedge funds.
1,200 physical letters.
Yep, each with a stock tip inside. High signal, high emotional impact. Got her a great job. Paid more than MBA grads were getting.
That's incredible. So it was about cutting through the noise.
Exactly. Avoid the low-impact stuff, like generic emails that just get deleted and leave you feeling demotivated.
Yeah.
Put your effort where it actually stands out.
Okay, makes sense. So you've got some traction, maybe made some sales. Now you need to scale. That means people, right? Building a team.
Critically important. And here he emphasizes the A-player hiring model. Look at leaders like Elon Musk personally interviewed the first 3,000 SpaceX hires.
3,000 himself.
Yeah. And Steve Jobs. He considered recruiting his absolute #1 job.
Why is it so crucial?
Because the core principle is A players want to work with A players. Simple as that. The minute you hire a B player, they tend to hire B and C players. It starts a downhill slide.
The bozo explosion, as Jobs called it.
Exactly. So you use tools, maybe pre-employment testing, recognize that core traits are pretty much hard-coded from age 5 to 95.
So you can't really change people fundamentally.
Not easily, no.
Yeah.
So you hire for the traits you need, and you have to hire people who are better than you in specific areas.
And if you make a mistake, hire the wrong person.
Fire fast. Monish says it's actually a service to them and to the team. Help them find somewhere they can be an A player.
What are the non-negotiables, the must-haves?
3 things. Integrity, absolute honesty, high ethics, intelligence, and just a real willingness to work hard. Those are the foundations.
Integrity, intelligence, energy. Got it. So you built this great team, this great business. How do you protect it? Competitors are always out there.
You need a durable moat, like a castle moat, right? It makes it hard for invaders' competitors to attack your market share.
What makes a good moat?
It can be different things. Simple customer habits, for instance, like sticking with the same barber. It's just easier than switching. Fiction.
Okay.
Or loyalty programs. Think Amazon Prime, Costco memberships. They create lock-in. It's not just about saving a few bucks. It changes your behavior. It makes you less likely to shop around.
Right. I barely price check on Amazon anymore because of Prime.
Exactly. Monish even mentioned Bill Gates thought those models were almost illegally powerful because they lock customers in so effectively.
Interesting. And you mentioned continuous improvement earlier. How does that fit with, like, defending the business?
It's vital for keeping that moat strong or even widening it. Think IKEA. 2 core principles from the founder. 1, never take on debt, build on a rock-solid balance sheet.
Smart. Less risk.
Absolutely. He saw leverage as the #1 killer of businesses. And 2, no 2 IKEA stores can be the same.
Really? Why not? Standardization seems easier.
It wasn't just about looks. It was a mandate for continuous, measurable innovation with every single new store. Always experimenting, always improving. If they stopped innovating, he thought, they were finished.
So every project needs an experiment built in.
Ideally, yeah. Keep pushing, keep learning.
Okay, so we've covered building the business, protecting it. Now let's shift to investing, which is where Monish is maybe most famous. How do these ideas apply there?
Well, for investment success, he boils it down to 3 main things. Your starting capital, obviously.
Right.
The length of your runway, basically, how much time you have, and your rate of return.
Right. Capital, time, return.
And he's got this brilliant mental tool to really grasp the power of these, especially time.
Ah, the rule of 72.
That's the one. It's just a quick math trick. Divide 72 by your annual return rate as a percentage. That tells you roughly how many years it takes for your money to double.
Okay, so if I get, say, 7% return, 72 divided by 7 is roughly 10. So doubles every 10 years.
Exactly. And he uses that amazing Manhattan Island example, bought for maybe $23 back in 1623.
Yeah, the famous story.
If that $23 had just earned a modest 7% a year, by 2023, it would be worth something like $23 trillion.
Wait, 23 trillion from $23?
Trillion, with a T, more than the entire current wealth of the U.S. That's compounding. It's nonlinear. It's that hockey stick club, as he calls it.
Wow. That just puts it in perspective.
And the incredible takeaway is, if your runway, your time is long enough, the starting amount, even if it's tiny, like 2 cents, and even the exact rate of return, they become less critical. Compounding does the heavy lifting over decades.
Okay, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So for listeners, what's the practical advice? How do you put this into action to Dhandho style?
Okay, first rule. Super basic, but essential. Spend less than you earn. You have to save. Save that first dollar. Don't wait to see what's left over.
Got it. Save first.
Second, start young if you can. Time is your biggest asset. Monish calculates like $5,000 saved at age 18, earning 10% a year for 50 years. That could become $500,000.
5,000 becomes $500,000 just by starting early.
Yeah. Third, keep it simple. Don't try to find the next NVIDIA. Just buy a broad index fund like the S&P 500 or even Berkshire Hathaway stock, BRKB. Set it and forget it.
No complex strategies.
No need for most people. And he warns strongly against day trading, says it's not good. The brokers make the money, not the traders. You don't see day traders on the Forbes 400 list, do you?
Good point. Okay, so buy simple, hold long term. What about managing those investments once you have them? Especially the big winners, the multi-baggers.
Right. This is crucial. He uses the circling the wagons mental model. It comes from Buffett, who noted that over decades at Berkshire, maybe only a dozen investments truly moved the needle out of hundreds.
Only 12 or so.
Something like that. And the key decision for those huge winners, the 10 baggers, 100 baggers, wasn't buying them. It was never selling them.
Never selling the winners. That's hard, though. Tempting to lock in profits.
Incredibly hard. Monish shares a painful personal story. He calls it a mistake of omission. He owned Fiat Chrysler, which inside it held like 80% of Ferrari.
Okay.
He sold it, made a couple $100 million, felt pretty good. But then Ferrari got spun off, its value soared, and he realized he probably left $1 billion on the table.
Ouch. $1 billion mistake of omission.
Exactly. He stresses those mistakes selling a winner too early are far, far worse than mistakes of commission, like buying something that goes to zero. Holding on is the hardest, most important part.
That's a profound lesson. Really makes you rethink things. And it loops back beautifully to that core Dhandho idea, doesn't it? Can you give us that Patel story one more time? It really nails the practical application.
Yeah, it's a fantastic example. The Patels, this group from Gujarat in India, they were expelled from Uganda back in the 70s.
Right.
Arrived in places like the US, UK, Canada. often with nothing, few white-collar skills applicable there. So what did they do? Dhandho.
Yeah.
They started buying small, cheap motels, lived in a room or two themselves, fired all the staff. The whole family pitched in, cleaning, front desk, everything. Zero labor costs.
Okay, super low overhead.
Which meant they could undercut competitors on price. Higher occupancy, they saved every penny, bought another motel, sent relatives to run that one the same way.
Wow. Rinse and repeat.
Exactly. And the result, today, Patels are about 0.1% of the U.S. population, but they own something like 80% of all motels in the country.
80%, that's staggering.
It shows the power of starting small, minimum risk, maximum effort, relentless execution, even in seemingly boring businesses. That's Dhandho in action.
Incredible story. So, wrapping up, what's the bigger picture here, the ultimate philosophy behind the Dando Investor? It feels like it goes beyond just making money.
Oh, definitely. Monish is very clear about this. Wealth without happiness. Pointless. Utterly pointless. His daily goal, he says, is maximizing what Monish loves.
What he loves.
Yeah, and that changes, right. Right now he mentions playing golf, but the point is, build a life filled with purpose, with joy, things you love doing. The wealth is a tool for that, not the end goal itself.
That's a great place to land. So there you have it, a deep dive into Mohnish Pabrai's really powerful, often counterintuitive mental models, from cloning and minimizing risk to relentless effort, smart hiring, building moats, innovating constantly, and harnessing that incredible magic of compounding.
Yeah, it's quite a toolkit.
It really is. A different way to think about building wealth, building a life, really.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. You know, studies often show something like 85% of people worldwide feel disengaged from their jobs. 85%.
That's a huge number.
It is. So ask yourself, are you truly getting your music out during your main waking hours? What we've explored today shows that, following that calling, finding that purpose, it doesn't have to be some crazy, risky leap off a cliff.
Right.
It can be a series of small, calculated, low-risk, Dhandho-style experiments, building on what works, listening really hard to the world around you. So what's that offering gap you see? What problem could you solve? Maybe even starting small, low-risk on the side. How could applying these principles finally let you play your unique music?